Continuing from the Grease Pencil Basics series, this is part 2, and we're going to concentrate on draw mode. Okay, so we have different modes: edit, sculpt, and draw object. But this three right here, we're going to concentrate on. Okay, so building up from the interface lesson, we're going to be in draw mode. Okay. In draw mode, we have our tools right here. We have the draw brush, fill brush, eraser. This is the tint. We have our cutter for excess lines. We have the eyedropper to select. And we have this pre-made drawing objects right here. And ignore this too for now. This is interpolate. This is when you interpolate between frames when animating, and that's our annotate. So it's pretty much the pre-mades right here and our main tools right here, which is draw, fill, and erase. Okay, when we have the draw selected, we have pencil right here. As you can see, it will simulate the type of brush that is one of the default right here. Okay, so I have it on Pencil Soft. I'm going to go to Ink Pen right here. Okay, and everything's pressure sensitive, so that except for the string. Let me turn it back on right there. Okay, so when you have that, depending on your pen and what is sensitivity, okay, it's pretty much straightforward. But this is a vector drawing, not a raster base. Okay, so that's one thing to kind of consider when you're drawing, because it's made out of multiple points right here. And once we get to the edit mode, you'll see what I'll mean by that. Okay. You can select the type of brush. Okay, you can change the radius. So right now it's 26. Let me increase that to something ginormous. Okay, strength. You can lower the strength. You can increase the strength. Okay, I'm going to turn off sensitivity rate, pressure sensitivity with the strength, so that I have a non-variable ink right here. Keyboard shortcut for the radius is F, but let me turn on my screencast so you can see my keyboard shortcuts. Okay, it's on. I'll put shadow right there so you can see it. All right, so when I press F, I can hover the pen, and I can change my radius, big, small, so on and so forth. Okay, very important that you set a radius for your outline so that you're consistent with all your line work. All right, so let's start a new clean canvas here. So File, New, 2D Animation, do not save. I'm going to zoom out here so we can see the entire canvas. We're still on Draw. Okay, so let me turn on Stroke, Stabilize Stroke. What this will do is there's a radius of 40, so there's like a latency drag on my cursor right here, which allows me to have smoother lines. Okay, so let me go to Ink Pen right here so we can see that better. All right, so I'm gonna leave one open like so. I'm gonna make one that's gonna cross it. All right, so we could use all the other tools. So this is pen, and we can change the color by selecting the pre-made ones. Right off the bat, when you go to File, New, 2D Animation, you get 4 materials. Okay, and one is just black lines. The other one is red dots, square, but they're kind of like dots. Gray, solid color, and black dots. So really, you're not going to use those other than when you're texturing. Okay, but pretty much our bread and butter would be on solid stroke and solid fill. Okay, simplify animation also. So your classic fill color, highlights, and shadow. So we do have 2 types of color. Okay, so I'm gonna point right here. This button right here, if you have this selected, you are using materials. Okay, material color, and then if you select that, that is your vertex color. So you can see it changed to that green one. And when I'm on this one, since I have solid stroke right here and black color, I have black color. Okay, so what is the difference between the two? If let's jump to the fill color right here, fill brush, okay? And I'm gonna go to in material, I'm gonna go here to solid fill, okay? So let's demo this first real quick. So that's the one I want. So this pretty much worked as advertised. So if I click here, okay, and click again, it filled a close outline with that color. Look at this one, it's open. I mean, we can close this if I go to which is for the next lesson. If I go to edit mode here and I go stroke and close it, it will actually close that. It will not close the drawing, but it will close it with an invisible line art right there. Okay. But without doing any of that, if I try to fill in this color with an open one, I will get an error. It says right here, unable to fill unclosed area. All right. So keep that in mind. You cannot fill color any open outlines. Okay. So very important. So what does this have to do with the materials and the vertex color? All right, so let's do another. I'm going to go back here. Let's draw another close object right here. So I'm in draw mode. Let's go select solid stroke. Let's do another one. Actually, this one right here is already. So if I select this fill brush, and then instead of using material solid stroke, I'm going to go to my vertex color, and then I get to pick. If I go here at the very top or right here, I get to pick whichever color. So if I click right here, let's say yellow, it changes to yellow. I can also click here and pick yellow or red. And when I click here to fill the color, this is a close one. Oh, was it not? Let's see. Oh, sorry. My mistake. I have to change this to fill. Okay. But for fill, I'm going to select this color right here. Oh, and fill brush. There we go. There we go. All right. So that was my error. I was on stroke. Okay. But let's do that again. Solid stroke. Let's create another one. Okay. Or let's use the material black. All right. Then let's go to our fill. We can do a gray fill, okay, material, or if I switch to vertex color, I can pick any color I want without having to go to material and change it and fill that color right there. Okay, so what's the difference between the two? Because they both do exactly the same, but it looks like the vertex color is very convenient because as long as I'm using a material that is a solid fill, I can just go here and pick from all this selection from this palette selection, as opposed to going to my material and selecting the color right here. It looks like it's a lot of work, okay? Because if you're using material, you'll be able to use that material for and you can change its color, and it's going to do it universally in your timeline or your animation. So let's say we've decided, remember, this gray one is from material. So if I change the color of this one to, let's say, blue, that changes right there. And every time I use this, regardless where I am in the timeline, that blue will always change. So last minute changes from your director, they said, let's make that blue a little bit lighter, make it light blue. Then all you have to do is change the solid fill color to a light blue, and the whole animation that uses that particular solid fill light blue or blue will change to that light blue. If you use a vertex color, you can't do that. You're going to have to change that frame by frame, and just to change that color. So that is the penalty for convenience of vertex color. Except if you have finalized your color, then there's no need to change. It's a good choice. Okay, so it's totally up to you. Okay, so how does this work with the color? Well, with solid color, you can create new ones, and you can either make it a line art or stroke or a fill color. The vertex color simply substitute this color right here, but you can't change it universally. That's all. So how do we make this solid color? I mean, solid fill and solid stroke. All right. So from the previous lesson, the tab right here is your material. Okay. And from here, when you start grease pencil, you have all this as a default. So let's say we don't use square stroke a lot, so I'm just going to put a minus in there. We don't use dot stroke also. All right, we just want our black line and whatever solid color we're using. Okay, so in order to make a new one, so let's say you want to keep the solid stroke black and you don't want to change that because it will change it universally, but you also want, let's say, brown, right? So I can click the plus sign right here, click on new material, okay? And we want a stroke, not a fill. So make sure that's in check. And then it's also a solid, not a texture, and we wanted a line, not a dot or square. So basically a exactly the same as this one, okay? So you can name it whatever you want. You can double click it and name it. But for this demo's sake, we don't need to name it. We just need to change the base color to give it value right here, and then let's go to brown and make that dark brown. Okay, so that will be part of your arsenal. Now you have a material, so it's good to name this so that you know this is a stroke color and it's solid. So once we do that and I go to I pick that one, this is a stroke, right? So let's name it so we don't get stroke brown. Okay, and I use it for my bucket. Okay, and sorry, my draw. Okay, then it's just a line color. All right, just like the solid stroke black. However, the reason why you need two, because when you change this color, you decided your outline needs to be, let's say, some other color, it will change universally because it's a material. Okay, but if you use a vertex color, so let's say even though I'm using stroke brown, that I can change universally, if I pick on vertex right here, change that to blue, that changed to blue already. Okay, so you got to plan ahead which one you want to use, because if you want option to change your fill color or your outline color later on, you're better off with materials because you have that power to change it. However, it changes everything. So if you use that particular material, then it's locked in. You get more versatility with vertex color, but you can't change the entire timeline to the exact same color. Okay. All right, let's make another one. I'm going to click the plus sign. This time, instead of a stroke, we're going to do fill and also solid. Let's just, have a purple one right there. Okay, so if I pick that color, okay, so this is let's rename it. So this one is fill, so we know it's a fill color. Okay, and I go to my paint bucket right here, then I can use that to oops, sorry, you see I still have the vertex color selected right here, so I'm going to click undo. I'm going to switch to material, and there it is. Okay, so that's all there is to it. So start a new one. Kind of clean this up. All right, so that's our draw and paint. And if you are on the draw, you selected a solid fill. Okay, you get kind of like a shape maker. All right, and you select solid stroke, you get the outline. I'm going to change this to ink so it's a little bit more obvious what I'm drawing. All right, next is the eraser, self-explanatory. Okay, next would be tint. So if you click on tint and you have your color right here, you can go in here. If it's a fill color, you can change it to that tint. You can change that color to whatever you want. You can tint it. Okay, and it has varying levels. With enough pressure right there, you get the color. Okay, let me go back to this one so that we have the I can go kind of like so. So this one is the cutter. Its job is just to clean those extra lines you didn't mean to. Okay, remember, everything needs to be closed so that you can use the fill bucket. Okay, next one would be our pre-made stuff. So if I click on line right here and I drag my mouse, okay, you have 2 points right there that you can still edit. And when you're happy with your line, you can middle click to confirm. It ends the tool. Okay, if I still have that line like so, and I could put a combination of shift right here, I can guarantee that I can have straight, horizontal, or vertical lines by holding down shift. Middle click, drag to end the tool. Okay, so we have our polyline. Okay. Okay, and without confirming, you can still edit that. But you always have this kind of polygonal shape lines. Middle click to finish, finalize it. Let's go with our arc right here, and then finally our curve. Okay, so with the arc, it's still editable until I confirm it. Middle click to confirm. And then our curve, you'll get 4 points for this one. Okay, so you can drag those however you want. So you can actually use this one for your line art if you want consistency with your lines. Middle click to confirm. Okay, square, of course, obviously. Okay, middle click to confirm. Hold down shift. It guarantees a square as opposed to a rectangle. Same thing with the circle. If you hold down shift, you get a circle. If you don't, you get an oblong or an ellipse. Okay, ellipse. All right, so that's our draw mode and our color. Okay, and as you can see here, you can have as many as you want, or you can go to your vertex color and actually set up your color palette. You can select it. If I go to the very top right here, okay, you can click the plus sign, which gives you a blank one, and then whatever it is that you pick right here, you can drag it to that. And let's say we're gonna populate it like so, and then you can just your own custom, or you can even do your eyedropper when you select. Okay, because right here you can just select any color you want, and you can complete your color palette that you can always come back to and keep reusing. All right, so that's our draw mode, and we're going to go to the edit mode in the next lesson.